secrets they repeat, a shadowed figure
with eyes full of light,
hiding truths in the shadows where no one dares to pry. Uncover the truth, let the lies come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth, let the shadows run. Break free from the chains and find the sun. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root in the heart of the fight. In the rain-soaked streets, under the moon's pale light, a crime unfolds with a twisted, sinister might. A knife in the dark, a scream that rings clear. Betrayal's cold hand in the heart of the deer. Through the fog and the mist, the truth we must see. In the shadows we find the answers we need. Uncover the truth, let the lies come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth, let the shadows run. Break free from your chains and find the sun. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root in the heart of the fight.
Go.
Yes, it is time to uncover the truth on Bloodlines and Betrayal. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. And with me, as always, because it's go time, Coach Schumann on his cell phone in green screen. Coach Schumann.
Hello.
We are going to be talking about what everyone is talking about in the crime world right now, the trial of children's book author, real estate mogul to an extent, Kouri Richins. Kouri was charged with aggravated murder, attempted aggravated murder, and 2 counts of insurance fraud and forgery. And this happened in she wasn't charged until 2023, May of 2023. Her husband, Eric Richins, died from a lethal fentanyl overdose, which was found in his system. And Kouri claimed that he never took drugs, never took fentanyl, or anything like that. The prosecution had pretty much stalled out under the investigation for quite some time. And then there was also the issue of Eric Richins' estate. So in 2020, Eric removed Kouri as the beneficiary of his $500,000 life insurance policy. And he also created a will and trust, which he put his sister as the executor of. He met with an estate planning lawyer because he wanted to protect himself from recently discovered abuse, basically, and misuse of his finances. So Kouri Richins wanted financial independence. When they got married, I believe in 2013, she had to sign a prenuptial agreement. Eric Richins had a successful, and I don't know what this is, Dave, he had a successful stone masonry business with a high school friend, one of his best friends, and they ended up becoming business partners in the stone masonry business, and it blew up. What the hell is stone masonry?
Stone masonry. So it's like when you see like when someone has a barbecue in the backyard, they have like all that kind of stone
The bricks and stuff
oven.
under it?
Yeah, that would be stone masonry. Or
And
you
it
might see stones. You might see stones when you go to like a pool. Might have
yeah,
them.
and it's that lucrative of a business.
Yeah, or the base of a house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, like the foundation. Okay. Because the business at that time was worth $6 million, and we talked about this on our insurance podcast. They had a Keyman insurance policy where Eric left a sizable portion of his part of the business to his partner to take over and just give a portion of the proceeds to his wife,
Sorry. Oh,
which angered his wife. She was furious about that. So after the murder happened, the Kouri got into real estate. She got a real estate license in 2019, and she started her own company in business flipping houses. We had this discussion on the podcast with Laban about house flipping because so many people, Dave, as you know,
yes.
think flipping houses is a quick and easy way to make a buck.
No
Wouldn't you
way.
agree?
Yep,
But
that's what they
wouldn't you
think.
agree that people think that?
Oh, they definitely think that. Yeah.
Yes, and it is not. It is not. Laban talked about how if you're a house flipper, you are up against the timeline. The second you buy the property, you have to do renovations immediately, and you have to get it done and on the market as fast as possible because the real estate market fluctuates so much. And if one thing goes wrong during a flip, if the floor guy can't get his products on time, then the walls can't be repainted, and this and that. It has a domino effect, and it throws off your timeline and it increases your costs. So she was doing this and not doing a great job. She was not profiting off many of her flips. So to obtain a loan in 2021, Richins submitted a falsified bank statement to a financial institution using bank balance details and transaction descriptions from her husband's company. When a bank representative flagged that her credit appeared lower than expected, she said she was in the process of separation from her husband. And she obtained several loans this way, and it ended up being $250,000 in total loans that she took out, or money that she took from her husband because of this. She was using it obviously to spend on renovations to flip houses.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. And the other thing she took out, which was something I never heard of. Have you heard of a hard money loan?
A hard money loan. Yes, but I can't. I don't know what it means.
Okay, I have never heard of it. So I was asking Laban about it. A hard money loan is if you take a loan out basically through somebody private, a private person, investor, whatever. Now, the way it's done is they will give you the money. There is much less regulation. They don't do background checks. However, the interest rate is through the roof. It can be 16%, whatever. She took out several hard money loans, and I can say one of them she took out for $60,000, and she was going to have to pay back $80,000 within a year. And I'm like, why in the hell would anyone do that? She took out several of these, and she was paying around, $2,000 a week for some of these loans. She had $300,000 in overdrafts in her bank account because of this. Laban and Ned Von had said some people will take out hard money loans if they believe that they can get the project done fast enough, the house flipped, make the money off the profits to pay it back. That's
Got
usually,
it.
but it's not really something you should do. And when you see how often she did it, and that's why she was charged with the fraud. She also took out several life insurance policies, term life insurance policies, as I learned, and they claimed that she forged his signature on the documents. Now, they had a handwriting expert testify that the handwriting was not the husband, Eric Richins, but he could not definitively say that it was Kouri Richins' handwriting. So the defense had moved to have that charge dismissed because you can't say that she wrote it. Now, they had reason for motive and all that, but they're saying, you know, if she didn't sign the document, that's not fraud. It seemed more like a circumstantial case. The key witness was the housekeeper, Carmen Lauber. Okay. The toxicology report showed that Eric had a high dose of fentanyl in his bloodstream and stomach. He had hydrocodone, and he also had Seroquel. Seroquel, I know because I used to take it. Seroquel is an antipsychotic, but it is also prescribed off-label for sleep. I used to take it for sleep purposes. So he had that in his system, and that I believe may have been prescribed to Kouri. The alcohol in his system was very, very minute. So, you know, the prosecution's theory that she poisoned his drink with fentanyl was tough to see because he didn't have enough alcohol in his system to basically say that he had really a full drink or a lot to drink. I think it was like 0.01, maybe 0.02. It was a very, very low amount. So the drug deals, Carmen Lauber, Kouri asked her, she said, listen, I have an investor. He's looking for pain meds. Can you get them? And I believe she knew her housekeeper, Carmen Lauber, had a history of drug addiction, abuse, multiple felonies. She was in drug court at the time. So Carmen had a contact. She reached out, and the first time she got hydrocodone. Got him, brought him back, whatever. Then there was another purchase, I believe in January, late January, early February. Kouri asked for more. And this time they gave her allegedly Oxycontin, Oxys, Roxys, as they say. Then Kouri asked again for something stronger, and she said, like the Michael Jackson drug. Carmen had no idea what she meant by that, the Michael Jackson drug. Do you recall what the Michael Jackson drug was?
I thought it was fentanyl.
No, it was propofol.
Oh, propofol.
Propofol is not given by prescription. It is basically used in doctor settings, like if you get a colonoscopy, something like that. It just puts you to sleep. It's like almost an anesthetic. But Michael Jackson took it because he couldn't sleep. So it would basically, he had a doctor on call. The doctor that administered it to him ended up going to jail for it for a few years.
Of course,
But she couldn't get propofol. So the dealer, his name is Robbie, said that allegedly I have fentanyl. And Carmen told Kouri this. Kouri said, fine, get it. So this is where the discrepancies come in. Carmen is cross-examined by the defense attorneys. She has the worst memory I have ever seen. Now, during her police interview, they play this. The police basically say, listen, you're going to have to serve 7 years in prison because she had violated her probation in 2023. Unless you can give us evidence to convict Kouri Richins of murder. A lot of people, a lot of legal experts said that was completely unethical for the police to do. And Carmen was like, sure, I'll whatever you want. Just give me, and her exact words were, give me the blueprint because I can't remember anything. So the cops basically shared a lot of the evidence with her. They had digital evidence and, showing where she went in the timeline. They just needed like confirmation from her of the truth. And a lot of legal experts say that she basically agreed to whatever the police said because she got full immunity. Otherwise, she was going to do 7 years in jail. So that was an issue. And when the defense cross-examined her, they highlighted instances where she violated her parole, lied about it. One of the issues was she was not allowed to have firearms in her house. A parole officer visited, or probation officer. She had a gun was found in the house. Another time, she was out at a concert drinking, and she was not allowed to drink. And the probation officer reported that she had no memory and basically lied and said, well, I wasn't drinking. I was just buying drinks for friends because they paid for my ticket. And her memory and timeline and everything was off. She anytime the defense asked a question, she's like, I don't recall. And they kept having to show her the transcript of their interviews or different things to reflect her recollection. And she says, oh, I still don't recall, but it says that's what I said. That's what I said. So then they brought on Robbie, the drug dealer, and he said, I didn't sell fentanyl. He said because fentanyl was killing people. In 2022, 2021, that's when it, was exploding, and many pills were laced with it. And during the toxicology report, the fentanyl gets broken down into two different things. One of them is norfentanyl. Norfentanyl is something that would show it being not prescription or hospital fentanyl, but illicit fentanyl made by like a drug cartel. So that's what it showed. When Robbie testified, he basically said he never sold oxy. He sold Roxy's, oxycodone, never fentanyl, which was different from the statement that he gave to police, different from the statement, the affidavit that he signed, and he also got an immunity deal. So that is, the probable cause, and that is what they charged her off of. I don't believe that the state has made their burden. Now, the forensic evidence they have text messages with Kouri and some with Carmen with her asking for the drugs. They have digital evidence as well showing Carmen driving to the location to meet Robbie to get the drugs and driving back and meeting Kouri. So the prosecution called dozens of witnesses. They had, the Cellbrite extraction from her phone. They had the lead detective. They had Carmen, who was basically a jailhouse snitch, and Robbie, the drug dealer, who also they both had full immunity from prosecution. And I believe that the defense poked enough holes in the evidence. Now, the uphill battle for her is she was able to get 3 life insurance policies worth $1.9 million that she took out in his name that he didn't know about, allegedly. Now, the other issue is she could not get into the safe in the house. She called a locksmith. A locksmith came, and Eric, her husband, who had just died, the sister is there. They open the safe and they find out that he has a trust. and she is not in the trust. The house is in the trust. She basically can't live in the house. She goes ballistic and actually punched the sister-in-law and got charged for aggravated assault. But she did still, receive a substantial amount of money. And one of the other issues she had, she purchased a mansion. It was called the Midway Mansion for $2.3 million. Now, when they went to close on the mansion, there was a big addendum because the mansion, as it was completely uninhabitable. It needed so much work. There were animals living there. It was built on wetlands. There were permits that were going to be needed to be made. And the repairs were going to cost around $3.9 million. She's already in debt for $1 million. She goes through with the purchase of the mansion, and then her husband dies. So that the timeline was a little screwy, and people speculate because she expected to get his part of the business, the money that was worth. He expected to get the life insurance policy, so she thought that would save her financial issues. When in reality, he ended up changing it. Now, the other thing, Dave, would you ever share an email account with your wife?
Would I? Some people do. I wouldn't.
Yeah. So they shared an email account. So she was able to get the information needed for the life insurance policies, the social security numbers, the social, the ID, the signature. She had all the documents, the tax returns, whatever. And they shared an email, so she was able to delete emails. But there was one instance in one day, the beneficiary on the life insurance policy, she had New York Life, I believe, and you can log in with a client ID online, whatever, a client ID and password. So the husband saw that she changed the beneficiary to herself. He changed it back to his sister within minutes. So they found that out, and she didn't know. So a year goes by, nothing really happens. Carmen gets caught violating parole. Kouri, while this all is happening, writes a children's book about, I think it was titled, "I'm Still With You." And it was about how to help children deal with the loss of a parent. And basically it was like the child who would see an angelic version of his father all the time. And it was trying to say, I'm always with you. And she went on the news in Utah to promote this book. She asked to go on. She had newspaper articles written about it. That was suspect as hell. I mean, would you do something like that? I mean, people deal with grief differently. I get that. But trying to monetize off the death of your husband,
weird is the word I would use.
Isn't it strange that you would do that? So they had the detective testify, and he was the final witness yesterday. He was very combative with the defense. And the prosecution pointed out no fentanyl was found in the house. No fentanyl, and he's like, no fentanyl was found on Eric, the husband. And he's like, well, except in his belly. Nobody knows how it was taken. He's like, well, I know it was ingested. He's like, well, you guess it's ingested. It's not speculated. It's speculation. and you can't say for sure the fraud because your own handwriting expert didn't prove it, and your witness, the drug dealers, can't even agree on what they got. You can't even prove that Carmen bought fentanyl from Robbie. Robbie claims he never sold fentanyl and testified to it. Carmen couldn't remember the day of the week. And when interviewed, you told her, listen, you're basically getting a get out of jail free card. And we're gonna get you immunity, otherwise you're gonna serve 7 years, you lose drug court. And she said, just tell me what you need. And then she didn't want to write, you have to write down details. And she wouldn't write anything down. She's like, can you write it down for me? And her reason she gave was because she didn't want other inmates seeing her write. They met with Carmen 10 times for interviews. And the police officer, the investigator, basically said, when you're dealing with addicts or people who sell drugs, they always try to minimize what they've done. They try to minimize their impact on the situation. And as we met with her, she gave us more, and she gave us more, and she gave us more. But, all they had really is the forensic proof of poisoning and the toxicology that showed an extremely large fentanyl present in Eric Richins' system. So they can't really say when it was administered. They can't particularly say how it was administered. Their theory also is he got sick on Valentine's Day and had an allergic reaction, and they had to use an EpiPen. And when they went out with friends, they joked, Eric joked, yeah, Kouri was trying to kill me. I had an allergic reaction, needed an EpiPen. So that is why they charged her with attempted murder, because of that situation, which is entirely hearsay.
She's a...
Oh, she's batshit crazy. Punching the sister-in-law was amazing. I can't believe she did that. Getting a locksmith to come and drill through the safe, couldn't believe that either. But I try to look at it from my perspective. I'm not married or anything. You're married. If something happened and you found out your wife had ended up changing things, put things in a will, in a trust, and named her brother or cousin or whoever as, the executor of that will, would that anger you and upset you if you didn't know?
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
you'd be pissed, right?
Be pretty disappointed. Yeah, I think there's something up. You know what I mean? That's what it would signal. Something's up.
I get that. But I can understand her anger. But see, the way I look at it, I think she was in financial constraints. She was money hungry. They allowed this conversation to come in. They went on a family vacation with Eric's partner in the stonemasonry business. And Kouri told the wife of the husband's partner that, she's thought about divorce and she can't do it because he has a prenuptial agreement and she's not financially independent, but she'd like to get that way. And that was in 2019. I don't think that should have been admitted. The judge admitted it. But it showed she went back. And the friend even testified that she went back. She got her master's degree. She got a real estate license. She started her own business, and she was proud of her. But she was not very good at flipping houses. And, she took money from her husband's account. And she was not good at managing money. The drug deals are suspect, but again, it's circumstantial. you can't say that
How come
fentanyl
they
was
have no hard evidence at all?
the hard evidence they claim they have is the toxicology, because fentanyl was found in the system.
And that, but did they
Otherwise,
find the drink as well? That
no, they
no.
found the drink, but they didn't find any fentanyl in the drink. That's my point. You can't find any fentanyl in the house. They searched it 10 times, never found any drugs. They found, I think, hydrocodone, which was prescribed to Kouri, I'm sorry, after she had childbirth. That was it. So that's why I say, okay, yeah, I think she was devious,
No
not a
doubt.
great person with managing money, taking money out of her husband's account, taking out loans against her husband's business. That's devious. That makes her a see you next Thursday. That doesn't make her a murderer. And I don't think that if you're asking me, and I watched almost all the trial when I could, if I was in that jury and, I had to vote, I do not think I could vote guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, because I find reasonable doubt everywhere. And so the surprise was yesterday, the lead detective was the prosecution's final witness. The defense rested. They did not call a single witness. And that only happens in cases where they feel that things went tremendously well, the state didn't meet their burden, and we don't even need to put on a defense. So that was a shock, because the trial was expected to go another week. So the defense rested. Today, they're meeting to go over how they're going to give the jury instructions. Tomorrow, I believe they're going to officially rest in front of the jury. Monday, they'll do closing arguments, and then the jury will deliberate. So, from everything that I have shared with you, could you
evidence
vote?
based? Am I being
Could you?
evidence based?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm saying going by the evidence. I'm not saying going by what you think of her as a person. If you think she did it, I'm saying going by the evidence and what we know. Like I said,
They have
Carmen,
fingerprints or anything, or
10 interviews. She was very inconsistent, has a horrible memory. Robbie, the drug dealer, claimed he never sold fentanyl. Fentanyl was never found at the house. No pills were even found at the house besides the hydrocodone. And, the financial thing with the life insurance policy being changed, her punching the sister-in-law, him setting up the will and trust. And they had digital evidence and text messages and all that showed that she asked for drugs, and the digital evidence showed where they went. Could you vote guilty for Kouri Richins for committing aggravated murder, fraud, attempted murder?
well, it doesn't. Fraud maybe.
So you would go with fraud.
Attempted murder could be. I might
You,
try to. I don't know if you can convict her though.
that's what I'm saying. Like, for the attempted murder, all they have is this story that he got sick and because he ate a sandwich, had an allergic reaction, and had to use an EpiPen, and he had allergies. And they told the story jokingly at a Valentine's Day dinner with friends, where Eric said, "Yeah, Kouri was trying to kill me."
Well, circumstantial evidence cannot give someone a guilty.
Circumstantial evidence is like putting together a puzzle. You have to put the pieces together to have enough to say it's legit to convict. But without finding any fentanyl, without finding any fentanyl paraphernalia in the house, and you're trusting statements from Carmen Lauber, who lied and lied and lied. She lied on the stand. She lied during her interviews. I don't think she's credible at all. Other people think she is. Robbie, the guy that sold the drugs to Carmen, I thought he was credible. And I mean, he obviously he minimized his effect because they basically said to him, like, listen, if you sold fentanyl, the federal laws have changed. If you sold somebody fentanyl and they died from it, you can get charged with murder. And he was like the same thing. I'll tell you anything you need to know. And, you know, I think that they did what they had to do to protect themselves. So if I'm looking at the case and I go to the jury room and reasonable doubt, by all reasonable doubt, you have to vote her guilty of this aggravated murder. I think there's reasonable doubt everywhere. If you want to convict her on the fraud charges, okay. Even though the handwriting expert said it cannot be proven that she signed the documents. So I am asking you, Dave Schumann is a juror. He goes into the jury room. Dave Schumann is a jury foreman. He's running the jury.
Oh,
Goes
boy,
into
that's
the
hard.
jury. He's going into the jury room after a 2.5-week trial, and they have to deliberate on the 3 counts, or I think it's 4 counts. Yeah, I think it ended up being 4 counts total. Yeah. So, and again, this happened in 2022. This didn't go to trial until 2026. She wasn't charged until 2023. So I would say, you know, is there any testimony or exhibit that I've told you about that you think will influence jurors the most? What do you think will be most influential?
Maybe some of the conversations.
The text messages.
Yeah, the maid.
Yeah. Yes, from Carmen, but I don't find her credible. If you ever get a
No,
chance
she's
to watch
not.
it,
She's a drug dealer,
yeah,
user, whatever.
yes. But if you see the interview, and every cop has said this, no police officer, detective would ever come in and say, we're going to give you a deal if you give us enough evidence to convict Kouri Richins of murder. It's I tell us the truth. Tell us the truth. We'll see what's going to happen. The other cop says we're basically giving you a get out of jail free card. So you're running the jury room. You're the jury foreman, Dave Schumann. Kouri Richins, her life is in your hands. Aggravated murder, attempted
Guilty.
aggravated murder. You are not voting guilty.
Guilty. Problem is there's not enough evidence. She's gonna get off.
I don't. So you would vote not guilty.
What's that?
You would vote not guilty.
I would vote not guilty.
I know you said you obviously think she's guilty. I'm asking you're not Coach Schumann, the podcaster. You're Dave Schumann, the jury foreman in Utah, who's running the show. You have to go over all the evidence that was presented and come up with a ruling.
Right.
So, are you voting guilty Not guilty? Could it be a hung jury? What do you?
I think it might go to a hung jury.
What would your personal
It,
vote be?
it sounds like it's a hung jury situation, or
what are you
or
voting?
not guilty because of the evidence. I think she's guilty, by the way.
I'm not asking what you think. I'm asking what you're voting. You're the foreman. What are you voting?
I'd have to go by the evidence. It's going to be hard to convict her.
Okay, so you would vote not guilty, or you would say I can't say either
I
way.
would need
I would
more
hold it.
direct evidence.
Yeah.
The problem is she probably did it. She probably poisoned him. Do they have like?
I agree, but
They don't have the glass. They don't have any of these.
they had
things.
the glass. They had it all. They had it all tested. No fentanyl was found.
You know, fentanyl's one of those things that you could touch it and die.
Exactly. If you can be around it and die. Absolutely.
So
I agree.
he may
But
not.
it was
ingest.
ingested. Though. I mean, it's 99.9% confirmed it was ingested.
What do you think that maybe? What about she put it in? They have any evidence where they thought maybe she did something to him in his sleep?
No. They think they had a drink that night to celebrate because she closed on that mansion, and they think that she put it in his Moscow Mule that they had together. The other theory is
What is a Moscow Mule
I
drink?
have no fucking idea. They're Mormons out in Utah. I don't fucking know. And the other theory is the attempted murder. The first time he got sick was she got a sandwich and maybe poisoned the sandwich with fentanyl. But again, we don't know for certain that she even purchased fentanyl. She never even asked for fentanyl. The only person who mentioned fentanyl allegedly was Carmen, the housekeeper.
No.
The housekeeper said, I can get fentanyl. And Kouri said, sure, go ahead and get it. But Kouri never asked for it, and there's no proof that she ever got it. And the drug dealer even said, the only thing I sold was oxys. I wouldn't touch fentanyl. So that is why I am saying it's circumstantial evidence. I think there's reasonable doubt everywhere. Do I think she's a bad person? Yes. Do I think she is money hungry? Yes. Do I think she committed murder? I cannot in good conscience vote guilty for aggravated murder or attempted aggravated murder.
Yeah.
But and you're agreeing.
Right.
And you're agreeing that you
It is difficult.
Your hair looks great. You need a haircut. But you do it. God, I wish I had thick hair like that. You do agree though that you do agree that there is not a ton of conclusive, like legitimate, hard evidence, and it would be if you voted guilty, you're doing it basically because you don't like the girl. You don't like her. You think she's a bad person. She stole money. Fuck her. I want her in jail.
She's not going to go get convicted.
For the defense to rest, it happens. It's not particularly super common, but it happens. But the prosecution put on like 40 witnesses. So for the defense to rest was shocking, which means, in my opinion, they either have like a test jury, a lot of defense attorneys hire out test juries, or they have consultants that say, or that, they have consultants that watch the jury intently during the trial to see their reactions to certain things. So something must be telling them that they're going to vote not guilty or it's going to be a hung jury. Because it's almost prosecutorial misconduct to not put on a defense. And in the beginning, it was even said that she was going to testify. Kouri Richins was going to testify in her own defense. So everyone, even the judge, was shocked yesterday when they started and after the prosecution rested, after the lead investigator was done, the defense gets up and goes, defense rests. And the judge, the look on the judge is great. Now, if you want, I implore you, please go to YouTube. You can even do it now if you want.
Okay, I'm on it.
Look up Kouri Richins' trial. You want to hear a good ASMR voice? The judge has the best ASMR voice.
Oh, I'll look that up after. Yeah.
He has he has like a soothing, soft voice. It's fucking great. I just want you to hear it. But so that's going to be the timeline. They're working on jury instructions today. They're going to rest in front of the jury tomorrow, and then I believe closing arguments will be Monday, and then deliberations will start. Well, just my last question to you would be this: how long do you expect, if you had to guess, the jury will deliberate? Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it being a long, maybe multiple
days.
days.
Okay.
Yep.
You don't see it like some juries. We went over a couple trials. The Casey Anthony trial, the jurors were out like a couple hours, I think. The O.J. Simpson trial, they were out a couple hours. You don't think in this case it'll be out a couple hours? You think that it's going to be? You think it'll be good?
Well, the longer it goes, the more likely they'll be guilty, right?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Okay.
I think the longer it goes, the more it favors the defense, because I think it shows that the jurors are conflicted or arguing over some of the evidence, or they're taking votes and the votes are split, and they're trying to work through things, trying to find out, okay, so why do you think she's not guilty? Like if 8 people vote guilty, 4 vote not guilty, they'll try to, okay, tell me your point of view. Why are you're the foreman? The foreman is the one who kind of instructs. Okay, so go over why you think she's not guilty. Okay, all right, that makes sense. That makes sense. That doesn't. Okay, you say guilty. Why? Okay, but this is the evidence we have. We have to come to a conclusion. This family has waited. The guy's been dead since 2022. It's been 4 years. We deserve to give them a verdict, one way or the other. So I am voting not guilty. I don't necessarily believe she is guilty. I really don't. Because I don't think she has any drug experience, knowledge. Fentanyl is never ingested. I mean, they have patches for it. They have lodges. They do have lollipops, lodgings that people suck on. It's for cancer patients. The people who use it illicitly shoot it, or like I did, I snorted it. So the fact that it was found in his gastric system, his stomach contents, that he orally ingested it, she's not going to force it down his throat. Now they say, yeah, she made prepared meals and the drink or whatever. But again, my focus is on, I don't care as much about the testimony. I care that everything that was tested in the house was not guilty. There was no fentanyl found. And the one thing that they should have done that they never did, because Kouri then comes out and claims, they did weed gummies together and Eric did use drugs from time to time. However, she wanted to protect it from his family, so she never said anything. The prosecution and the investigators, what they should have done is a hair test. And the defense was asking the investigator about it, and unfortunately the judge shut it down, which I thought was not right. A hair test goes back 6 months. So it would have shown in 6 months his toxicology and drug use. And, the other thing the investigator brought up, they looked up Eric in the prescription monitoring system, which basically shows any controlled substances that you are prescribed. There's a database for it. When they looked it up, nothing showed. It showed Eric Richins was never prescribed any opioid, any controlled substance in like a 5-year period.
That's also suspect.
All right. So you're going not guilty.
Oh, not guilty.
Okay.
I guess.
However, you do think she did it.
I think she definitely did it.
And the children's book, do you think that's really bad? Like, to me, that to me is the worst part. She writes this children's book, I'm Still With You.
She's weird, dude. Doesn't make her a killer, but in this case,
what are you typing, by the way? Because I know you're multitasking.
I am?
Yeah, you're typing. You're obviously typing something.
I'm uploading stuff.
Okay. For the Boardwalk Beasts.
No. We have a tournament this weekend, but that's not.
Oh, is it in your area?
No, it's in Delaware.
Okay. All right. Well.
So what do you have on the agenda the rest of the day, event stuff wise?
I have 2 more podcasts.
Wow.
I have Julius's podcast tonight.
Okay.
And then my friend. And everyone's at the Big East tournament.
How was the arguments about the Hurley the other day?
Joe didn't really. Joe didn't want to make a whole big deal out of it. He basically said it happened. He bumped the ref. He said the officiating in the Big East has been awful all year.
Yeah.
And Hurley got fined for it.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, and he didn't think much of the Marquette loss. He thinks, he was surprised because they had a week off, and he would have expected them to play better, but they didn't. He still believes they will.
What, the Big East?
The Big East tournament started yesterday.
I watched him yesterday. They murdered Xavier.
Yeah, I know. I was so mad. Everyone was sending me pictures.
Why?
Well, because everyone's there. All my friends are there.
Who's there?
Jamar, Courtney Williams, Bobby Alfaro, a bunch of the dudes are down there. Burton's going to be down there. I'm trying to talk my father into going. I doubt I can get him to leave 2 weekends in a row. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think they play Did they play today?
They played yesterday. I don't know.
Okay, I think Burton said that he is going tomorrow, so I was going to try to go. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it. So I'll watch the tournament. That'll be exciting. The women are rolling.
Who do they play so far?
They dominated Villanova in the finals of the tournament and won the Big East tournament. Chris D angered Joe D and Maria, which was great. He posted, because Maria was talking about the Big Ten and how the Big Ten being good, and Chris D posted, the team, whatever team lost to UCLA, lost by, or it was Iowa. Iowa lost by 50 points in the Big Ten finals for the women. So he mentioned that, and I read it out to Maria. Maria was not happy. Maria was like, I'm not talking about Iowa. UCLA is legit. They were all pissed because Muffet McGraw said that UConn shouldn't be the number 1 seed overall because the Big East blows. Maria said that Villanova was the number 2 team in the Big East, and they would be the number 9 or 10 team in the SEC. So that was funny to hear. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna roll. They're gonna roll. I think the men will roll. The only issue with the men, Joe D got angry about this. People asked about the injury to, was it Ross? Jaden Ross is out. And Joe D was pissed. He was like, yeah, well, it's none of your business because of HIPAA. He says, you don't need to know what's wrong with them. There's HIPAA now. I'm like, I was just like, well, they do like NFL reports, like he's out with a knee injury or this and that. I'm like, but UConn didn't say what he was out for. And the other news was Mullins is considering leaving for the NBA.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that. Joe and Maria both think that he should stay. I don't think that he would. I mean, he's played well. I don't think he's a first-round pick.
He'll go in the first round.
What? No way.
Probably the fact.
You would draft him in the first round?
Shoot the lights out.
I don't know if he was lights out. He averaged like 12 points a game. I mean, I think Reed and Caravan, I would take over.
He should stay to get more money because he may not make it if he's that low a pick.
Well, if he's a first round pick, he'll be fine. But if he went in the second round, no. Joe D did not believe that Caravan changed his draft status in any way. I just thought it was strange that they inducted him. He's the first active player to be inducted into the Hall or the Hall of Honor or whatever for UConn basketball, men's basketball. That's what I thought. I didn't think. I know that he has the most wins as a player in school history, but as an active player, I don't know that I would have. Like Mecca, I would have inducted. I don't think I would have inducted Caravan as while he was still active. That's just my opinion. I think he's great. He's been doing, he's picked up his game. He's a leader. That was my only gripe. But I do think that they will roll. I think they'll beat St. John's. Joe D actually predicted St. John's to win the whole tournament. Maria picked UConn, but obviously she didn't think they would win by 40 again. So, all right. Another banner, Bloodlines and Betrayal.
Yeah.
And this was true Bloodlines and Betrayal. The betrayal of a fucking wife. Never know, Dave.
That's the true bloodlines right there.
Maybe Nicole's taking out life insurance policies on you right now. You don't know.
Probably. I'll probably be killed.
You better watch what you drink.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but
They'll take me out.
I'm telling you, I just seriously look at the case and please go on YouTube. I just want you. You can find shorts of the judge talking.
Okay.
The greatest ASMR voice ever.
Funny.
All right, for Coach Human, Steve Cully, best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and make an
Go back to
orange
Dave.
juice. No. You're gonna make what's a vodka orange juice? What's that?
A screwdriver.
Yeah, make a screwdriver. Don't make a Moscow Mule.
I gotta look up what a Moscow Mule is.
Yeah, you can look that up.
All right, great show.